Tonight, devastation in Ukraine. Russia launching its deadliest missile strike in months. More than 20 people killed, including children, after a Russian airstrike rocked a high-rise apartment building. Crews racing to save survivors still trapped in the rubble. Ellison Barber is on the ground in the hard-hit city. Dangerous escape, explosions ringing out in the capital of Sudan, despite an extension of the fragile ceasefire. Two generals still viciously battling for control of the country. Tonight, the story of one South Carolina couple, how they managed to flee the violence, and why they say they felt abandoned by the U.S. government. New migrant surge, hundreds of people already crossing the southern border every day, why officials fear the end of COVID-era border restrictions will rapidly push migrant processing centers past their limits. A warning tonight for parents about a dangerous Benadryl challenge on social media. One 13-year-old killed, another rushed to the hospital. What you need to know. Plus, outgunned in Hollywood, 3 restaurant goers robbed by a man with an assault rifle. Why this incident is reigniting a debate about funding for the police. And retiring to China? Yaya, the great panda, back in Shanghai after 20 years at the Memphis Zoo. Why some super fans in China are raising concerns about her treatment on U.S. soil. So what happened? Top story starts right now. And good evening. We begin Top Story on this Friday night with devastating images that are coming in tonight from Ukraine. Weeks of relative quiet shattered tonight as Russia launched its most aggressive missile strike in months. A race against time tonight to find survivors still trapped in the rubble, and here's why. An early morning attack at this apartment building in Uman in central Ukraine. More than 20 people killed, including children, in one of the deadliest attacks on civilians all year. To the east in Dnipro, a young woman and child killed in a separate attack there. And an airstrike rocking the capital of Kyiv for the first time since early March. City officials saying they shot down 11 missiles and 2 drones, but the debris from those intercepts still causing damage on the ground. Ellison Barber is there in Ukraine for us tonight with the heartbreaking scenes, and she leads us off.
Tonight, a frantic search for survivors after a barrage of deadly Russian airstrikes. Rescuers combing through smoldering concrete and metal. It is all that's left of an apartment building in Uman after a missile hit in the middle of the night. Residents were fast asleep. Marina telling us she lives nearby and rushed over to help.
Is anywhere in Ukraine safe?
Nowhere. Nowhere. I moved a lot since the war started, and nowhere is safe.
Among the dead, at least 4 children. People here are overwhelmed with emotion. The safety of a home shattered by Russia's war again.
Russia claims they were targeting military-related spaces, but you look at the people here, the little ones included, and you realize what a residential part of the city this is. These are apartment buildings all around. This one, the apartment building that was hit the hardest, people who live here say this side of the building, that's where most of the bedrooms were.
These were the first large-scale Russian missile strikes in nearly 2 months, hitting several cities. A strike in Dnipro killed a toddler and her mother. In Kyiv, a child was injured. Back in Uman, we met Daria, a 20-year-old volunteer.
The most heartbreaking part was like the loud cries of women. I saw the man who was crying because he's the only one who's still alive of his family.
Ellison Barber joins Top Story tonight from Kyiv. Ellison, a terrible day and night for the people of Ukraine. The death toll has been rising from that attack throughout the day. How are the rescue efforts going?
They're still underway right now. We watched earlier this afternoon as rescue teams brought out generators to set up lights so they could work throughout the night. The big question, Tom, is how many people are still unaccounted for, and that's a number that we do not have. I asked rescuers on the scene this afternoon if they know how many people they are still searching for. They said they did not, but local officials have said the section of this building that was hit, about 109 people lived there. This morning, they'd saved 17 people from the rubble alive, but as the hours passed, the death toll continued to climb. We're hearing reports tonight that among the people still unaccounted for, children might be included in that number. So the efforts there are still frantically underway to, if not save people, at least give families some sense of closure, some sense of where their loved ones are.
An absolutely terrible strike by the Russians. Russia has been, it feels like, ramping up attacks in recent weeks. What kind of aid is President Zelensky now calling for?
Yeah, Zelensky is pointing to this strike tonight to say that this is a reminder, in his view, that weapons is the only thing that stops terror and will save people's lives. He pointed out the fact that while this was a horrific attack and many civilian lives have been lost, Ukraine's air defense system intercepted the majority of the missiles Russia fired, 21 out of 23 missiles. He's pointing to that to say that that is evidence that what they need here are more resources, more advanced weapons systems, so they can stop the missiles that Russia sends, because Russia, they have a massive stockpile of these types of weapons and they can fire them, it seems, just whenever they want. Ukraine says the only way they can stop that is if they have more advanced weapons, and Zelensky is asking for more from the West again this evening. Tom.
Ellison Barber and her team reporting tonight from Ukraine. Ellison, please stay safe over there. We want to turn now to the escalating conflict in Sudan. More than 500 people have been killed since the violence started 2 weeks ago, with tens of thousands of people fleeing the war-torn country. This emotional moment was captured on camera when our Sky News reporter, Yusra Barid, was reporting on people fleeing into Saudi Arabia when she suddenly spotted her uncle, who had just escaped. Watch this.
Oh, my God, that's my uncle. That's my uncle. I lost him.
So many emotional scenes like that playing out. The U.S. government now telling Americans still in Sudan to get out in the next 48 hours. And tonight, the harrowing journey of an American couple making the dangerous journey to escape the capital of Khartoum. Megan Fitzgerald has their story.
Tonight, an urgent message from the U.S. government to Americans trapped inside Sudan, with fear among those struggling to get out of the country escalating.
The American embassy told us that they pulled all their employees out and that they can't help us.
Americans Denise Bowers and her husband Chris, desperate to flee, documenting their difficult journey.
We're really scared, so please say a prayer that we make it home safely.
The White House now saying the clock is ticking.
We encourage Americans who want to leave to take advantage of the options that are available to them in the next 24 to 48 hours.
The three-day ceasefire both the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary agreed to has been extended by another 3 days. But the violence and explosions continue throughout the capital city, Khartoum.
It was impossible to leave our houses because the shooting and the shelling.
Early Thursday morning, Turkish officials confirmed one of their C-130 evacuation aircraft landing outside the capital was struck by gunfire, both warring sides blaming the other.
Hopefully there's no roadblocks, because the roadblocks target foreigners. They steal your things, your passports, your money.
The situation on the ground is deteriorating, and the Bowers are frustrated that the U.S. is relying on other countries to evacuate U.S. citizens.
They sent us an email in the middle of the night saying, yeah, we're not taking anybody else. You're pretty much on your own. You can contact the Turkish embassy and follow their convoy in your car.
The State Department says while they may not be directly evacuating non-diplomats, they negotiated the ceasefire to create the conditions for evacuations to take place. The Pentagon saying the U.S. is supplying drones and surveillance to try and ensure safe passage. But Denise says if it wasn't for the international school she works for, she's not sure they would have made it out.
Our school came through. They pulled all of their strings. They worked their magic. They moved mountains. And that's how we all were able to leave.
The dangerous and terrifying journey out of Sudan took over a week.
Before we left Khartoum, I think we were stopped 3 times, 4 times.
A couple of them were scary.
An armed man came onto the bus and they targeted a family that has a brand new baby, and they asked for their passport.
and we didn't understand what they were saying.
The couple went from Khartoum to Egypt, passing through Aswan and then Cairo, leaving Africa and finally landing in Frankfurt, Germany, before their last leg home to South Carolina.
I just can't wait to see my children and to give them big hugs.
The journey is over for the Bowers, but there's still thousands of U.S. citizens in the country, many desperate to get out. The White House is asking Americans in Sudan who want to get out to move quickly, adding that the situation on the ground is unlikely to improve. Tom?
Megan Fitzgerald with just one of so many incredible stories coming out of that country right now. We thank her for that. Here at home, into the ongoing migrant crisis, hundreds of migrants crossing the border every day, and border officials say next month could be even worse. The COVID policy, Title 42, is expected to end next month, which officials warn could lead to yet another surge. NBC's Guad Venegas has more.
Tonight, hundreds of migrants crossing daily on the Rio Grande. Officials say it's perhaps an indicator of what's to come ahead of the end of Title 42 after COVID restrictions are lifted across the country. Here at the Mexican border city of Matamoros, an encampment of primarily Venezuelan and Nicaraguan migrants prepares to cross the river. They use inflatable mattresses. Many, like this woman, with small children in tow. It's hard, but you have to try, she says. The rush accelerated by fear among migrants, with the Biden administration announcing stricter rules for entry as Title 42 is set to expire next month. A policy that since 2020 prevented migrants from getting into the U.S. at least 2.5 million times.
It's an approach focused on making migration more safe, orderly, and humane, and on advancing the interests of the American people.
Now the Biden administration is set to open migrant centers in Latin America with stiffer consequences for those who try to continue the journey illegally. With federal and local officials already stretched thin, Biden's domestic policy chief Susan Rice is announcing she will be stepping down next month. Rice had been key in advising the White House on immigration policy and tasked with creating a transition plan for when Title 42 would end. But along the border, the crisis has already begun. The Opportunity Center for the Homeless in El Paso at capacity and allowing hundreds of migrants to take shelter outside its facilities. A Department of Homeland Security official telling NBC News there's anxiety in the agency over current funding levels and the predicted rise in migration. DHS telling the White House it needs over $3 billion from Congress in order to have capacity for shelter, processing, and transport of migrants at the border.
All right, Guad joins us tonight from Miami. Guad, you have that shakeup with some of the immigration players in the White House. And then last time that news came out that Title 42 was going to be lifted, it led to a lot of misinformation that trickled down to those migrants. As a result, it caused a huge influx at the border. How is it playing out this time around? We're clearly seeing more people hit to the border now.
Right, Tom. So the issue of misinformation has been affecting migrants for some time. Mexican border officials told me in the past that smugglers are key in spreading that misinformation, usually spinning it to always try to convince migrants to come to the U.S. border. Now, right now, a lot of these migrants are surging to the border because they believe that once Title 42 is lifted, it's going to be much more difficult to enter the U.S., which technically is correct. But the expectation is that even after Title 42 is lifted, information will make its way to the migrants, perhaps from smugglers, trying to convince them to come to the U.S. and let them think that there's still a way to enter the country. Tom?
Okay, Guad Venegas first. So hard to see all those families and those little babies on the border. Guad, we thank you. The U.S. military grounding some of its aircrafts tonight after a deadly chopper crash in rural Alaska. The Army saying 2 Apache helicopters collided in flight, killing 3 soldiers returning from a training mission. NBC News Pentagon correspondent Courtney Cubie has been following this for us all day. Courtney, what more can you tell us about what happened?
So we know very little about what happened over the skies of Alaska other than 2 Apache helicopters collided in a very remote and rugged area more than 200 miles north of Anchorage, of the capital. They were flying out of Fort Wainwright, part of an aviation element. Now, Apache helicopters are 2-seaters. In this crash, 2 U.S. soldiers were killed almost instantly. Another one died while en route to the hospital. and one is still wounded tonight in the hospital. Now, we know very little about what caused this. It was daylight. They were flying back from a routine mission, and according to U.S. officials, who we've spoken to, U.S. military officials, there was no weather problem at the time. Now, you mentioned what the Army has taken tonight, which is a pretty major step, Tom, and that is a temporary stand down of all their aviation assets. That is effective immediately. What it means is no U.S. Army helicopters will fly anywhere in the world unless it is an emergency, and all U.S. Army pilots have to go through some new training before they'll be allowed to fly again. It's a major step that they're taking here, Tom, across all aviation platforms.
So, Courtney, real quick on that part right there, have you ever heard of anything ever like this, or is this sort of out of the blue?
It's common for there to be some sort of a safety standout, but generally it will be for the specific platform involved in a collision. So in this case, for Apaches. But because there have been a couple of other collisions in pretty quick succession here, last month there was a deadly collision over the skies near Fort Campbell. 9 U.S. soldiers killed when 2 Blackhawks collided during a nighttime training mission. And then a month before that, in February, 2 Tennessee Army National Guardsmen were killed, again in a Black Hawk crash. So because there have been 3 separate crashes in a very quick succession, all of them deadly, this stand down is across platforms. There was the Apaches and the Blackhawks, not just one specific helicopter. So again, a safety stand down like this and a retraining isn't super uncommon. But the fact that it's across all different types of aviation, this means that helicopters all over the world, even in potentially dangerous areas, are going to be stood down for now unless it's an emergency. And in that case, it would take a general officer to override this order, Tom.
Do we know anything about how they figure out the causes of these crashes? Because unfortunately, in so many of these cases, there are no survivors.
That's right. Well, in this case, there is one soldier who was injured and is in the hospital tonight. So they will hopefully be able to interview that individual. There's a safety aviation unit in Alabama. They're flying there on their way to Alaska right now to look into this. But it was an extremely rugged area. So any kind of debris collection is going to be even more difficult, and bringing it back to the base to examine. It makes it more difficult right now. But U.S. Army officials who we've spoken to, they're pretty confident that they're going to be able to figure out what happened here. In this case, one thing they do have is the radio transmission. So in the case of the helicopter crash, again, a midair collision with the 2 Blackhawks last month near Fort Campbell, Kentucky, they were able to determine a little bit more about it. It's still ongoing, but they were able to determine that there was a nighttime collision, and they're still looking into what caused that one as well.
All right, Courtney Kuby, we appreciate the live update on this breaking story. Next to the extreme weather hitting the country tonight, across the Midwest, the Mississippi River rising steadily in a slow-motion disaster. We've been showing these pictures to you and telling you about this story all week. A lot of this because of that snowmelt continuing to produce major flooding. Those conditions only expected to worsen by Monday. And in Florida, residents still recovering from yesterday's tornado damage, now bracing for yet another round of dangerous storms. Maggie Vespa reports tonight.
Nah, this is like really bad.
Tonight, an unrelenting lineup of vicious spring weather stretches on, from a trail of tornado damage down south to widespread flooding along the mighty Mississippi.
I just don't know what the future holds. I'm sure that's what everybody else is thinking. How long and how high are these going to get over the next few years?
The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers closing locks and dams from St. Paul to St. Louis, bringing barge traffic to a halt on the upper Mississippi River. Melting snowpack inundating cities like Davenport, Iowa, covering streets downtown. Waters slated to rise until Monday. A local gas company cutting service to 130 homes flooded nearby. Evacuees stuck in hotels.
Hopefully it will go down as fast as it came up and we can get in and start cleaning.
Down south, destruction is coming from the skies.
It blew out some windows.
At least 7 tornadoes reported across Georgia and Florida overnight. By the light of day, breathtaking wreckage and heartbreak.
Throwing away my prized stuff.
This alongside pummeling hail and torrential rain. Floods stranding cars in Fort Pierce, Florida.
It was so much rain so fast.
And terrifying moments in Fort Worth, Texas, where 2 boys struck by lightning this week are now recovering.
Apparently I died last night and came back to life.
Their mom begging parents to keep their kids safe inside.
I know it's like a 1 in a million chance, but you never know. You might be that one. It was 2 for me.
A plea for caution amid a catastrophic mix of severe weather that just won't let up.
All right, Maggie Vespa joins us again tonight from Davenport, Iowa. And Maggie, Iowa's governor late today issued another disaster proclamation for parts of that state.
Yeah, definitely. So Governor Kim Reynolds in the last just few hours here issuing a disaster proclamation for 2 more counties here in Iowa along the Mississippi River, which means a total of 7 and counting right now. People in those counties now have access to thousands of dollars in government grants to basically cover flood damage. And keep in mind, I'm sitting in the middle of downtown Davenport, Iowa. Like, this is a city street, and it's obviously already submerged. This money, these government grants coming out, knowing that water here is still days from cresting, likely to keep rising, Tom, until Monday.
Maggie Vespa, who's been on this all week for us. Maggie, we appreciate it. Many facing more severe weather tonight and into the weekend. I want to get right over to NBC News meteorologist Bill Cairns. And Bill, we see that radar again tonight. A lot of violent weather out there.
Yeah, we're at the peak of this event, Tom, and we are in central Texas. And this was a tornado warning, now downgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning. And this is flowing from Bryant, Texas, here, Interstate 45. So damaging wind, definitely a possibility of this, and some large hail. Again, this was radar indicated, not a confirmed tornado. We haven't had any confirmed tornado reports, by the way, today. And how about San Antonio? You're now under a severe thunderstorm warning, and this monster thunderstorm, when you see the purples like this, that's when you know you're going to have a large hail event. If this goes right over downtown San Antonio, we could have some significant damage. All these white dots on here show you where we've already had large hail reports. This is 2.5 inches. That's tennis ball size hail that's already fallen with this storm, and that's heading for San Antonio. So hopefully it'll weaken before it gets there, because that would do significant damage. So these storms in Waco, you're safe. Dallas, Fort Worth, you're done too. These storms will be over San Antonio to Bryant, Texas, and then heading towards Victoria and Houston as we go throughout the next about 3 or 4 hours. Then after midnight, that threat will diminish. And then tomorrow we do it again. 3 times this week we've taken storms from Texas and thrown them into Florida, and we're going to do that tomorrow afternoon. So Jacksonville to Panama City and I-10, Tallahassee, and then all of Central Florida, that I-4 corridor. Watch out, damaging wind and hail possible, Tom, tomorrow.
All right, so the Southeast we got covered. How's the rest of the country looking this weekend?
Well, the Mid-Atlantic, the Great Lakes, and Northeast, the complaint box will be full. This storm system that is going to plague us in New England, it's going to be a raw day tomorrow. It's not going to pour all day, but it's just going to be raw and cool. You're going to have some snow in areas of Wisconsin. It's just going to be a really chilly weekend in the Upper Peninsula. And then as we go through Sunday, it pauses just at 2 p.m. Heavy rain from Buffalo to the central New York, D.C. to the Delmarva, pouring rain. This is snow in Wisconsin, cold and showery in the new areas of the Ohio Valley, and then it pours from New York to Boston the second half of your Sunday. A lot of washed out weekend plans.
Nasty spring weekend. All right, Bill, I wish I wouldn't have asked you about that. Anyways, great to have you tonight on a Friday. Still ahead, a terrifying robbery caught on camera in West Hollywood. A man armed with an assault rifle robbing 3 victims behind a restaurant. So why is this so important? It's because a lot of people are blaming a recent cutback in funding for crimes like this. Plus, a scathing new report released about the Silicon Valley bank failure, why the Fed is placing the blame in part on themselves. And a warning tonight about a dangerous social media challenge you have to hear about. It's called the Benadryl Challenge, what parents need to know. Stay with us. Top story just getting started on this Friday night. We're back with a years-old social media trend that now may be making a comeback with tragic consequences. This month, one teenager is dead and another was rushed to the ICU after their families say they ingested large doses of Benadryl for what's known as the Benadryl Challenge. NBC's Maya Eaglin has more on what parents need to know about this game, which is no child's play.
A dangerous viral challenge from 2020 impacting more families this month after allegedly killing one 13-year-old and landing another teen in a hospital ICU. The social media trend named the Benadryl Challenge shows people taking a dozen or so pills to induce a hallucination or high.
What's basically happening is they're taking multiple tablets and then trying to see if they hallucinate. And then the goal is to then share that hallucination in a vivid sense or talk about it afterwards.
But it's so dangerous, a 13-year-old boy from New Jersey was rushed to the emergency room this month after swallowing an unknown number of Benadryl pills while he was home alone. His parents, who didn't want to disclose their identities, telling WNBC their son was curled in a fetal position on the floor, eyes dilated, like staring into space, couldn't move, couldn't walk. Also adding, now everything is locked in a cabinet. "I wear keys as a necklace."
When they're little, you hide dangerous medications so they don't accidentally take something. As they get older, you hide dangerous medications so they don't intentionally take something.
The challenge has since been banned by TikTok since 2020. Now, when you search hashtag Benadryl on the platform, you're sent to a warning about substance abuse. But still, the Ohio family of Jacob Stevens is grappling with his loss at the hands of a Benadryl overdose.
Jacob had taken Benadryl ever since he was a little tiny kid, and I don't think that he would have ever thought that it would have hurted him.
He was just 13 when he died at a children's hospital earlier this month. His family, writing on a fundraising page, quote, heard it was a TikTok challenge, and his father, too heartbroken with grief to provide guidance to others.
I can't offer anything. I can't deal with myself, so I don't have anything to offer anybody else right now.
If you can, maybe sit in their bedrooms and just think of memories, because that helped me a little bit, because a lot of memories come back in a place that you guys have been together.
His family sharing these photos as part of his obituary, saying he was a well-mannered, funny, loving kid. Benadryl lists the risks of the medication on the box. The FDA also issuing a warning about the trend after a slew of incidents in 2020, saying taking higher than recommended doses can, quote, lead to serious heart problems, seizures, coma, or even death. Our Oklahoma affiliate, KFOR, reporting a 15-year-old girl died in 2020 as a result of the challenge, and a Fort Worth hospital posting that 3 teenagers said they ingested excessive amounts of Benadryl after watching TikTok videos that claimed the medication would get them high. Now a doctor offering this advice to parents.
Maybe keeping computers in public areas in the home so you can see that, taking their phones from them at night. So things like that to really limit the use when they're young.
And with that, Maya Eaglin now joins us in studio. So, Maya, I guess the first question is, what are the social media platforms saying or doing when these dangerous challenges take off?
So we heard from a TikTok spokesperson today. They sent us a statement that reads, in part, quote, "At TikTok, we strictly prohibit and remove content that promotes dangerous behavior with the safety of our community as a priority. We've never seen this type of content trend on our platform." We also heard from a Meta spokesperson who also denied seeing it on their platforms.
Yeah, but by the time it gets to their desk, it's probably already spread and gone viral. I do want to ask you, if someone has a child who's taken the Benadryl challenge, what should they do immediately?
Experts say immediately call 911 or your local poison control center. But the USDA spokesperson we talked to today said more importantly is understanding the preventative measures here, having those simple conversations, those transparent conversations with your household members, and keeping some of these medicines in a more secure location.
All right, some good tips right there, Maya. We thank you for that. Now to the latest on the Idaho murder case. New court documents reveal one of the witnesses to the attack has agreed to be interviewed by Brian Kohberger's defense team. She had originally fought the subpoena. Kohberger's attorney says she may have evidence that will help their client. Erin McLaughlin has the latest.
Tonight, a new twist in the Idaho stabbing attacks that killed 4 college students. Bethany Funk, one of the 2 survivors, has now agreed to be interviewed by the defense in the murder case. Attorneys for the suspect, Brian Kohberger, issuing a subpoena for Funk to testify. Kohberger's legal team claiming Funk has exculpatory information that might help to exonerate him.
Subpoenaing this witness gave the defense leverage to get what they probably really wanted, a sit-down, off-the-record interview with this critical witness.
An investigator for the defense writing, Ms. Funk's information is unique to her experiences and cannot be provided by another witness. Funk's attorney fought back, filing a motion to quash the subpoena, writing, even if Funk possesses exculpatory evidence, which remains unknown, there is no place or reason to present it at a preliminary hearing. But new court documents made public show she's now agreed to an interview with the Idaho-based defense counsel. Funk will testify in Reno, Nevada, where she's from, instead of taking the stand in the Layton County, Idaho court, where Kohberger's preliminary hearing is set to begin in late June.
Now the defense gets the information they wanted from this witness in an interview, and they don't have to fight to get her subpoenaed to testify in court.
Ahead of the hearing, the prosecution expanding its team as they look to bolster their case against Kohberger. 2 deputies from the Idaho Attorney General's office, Jeff Nye and Ingrid Bate, have been appointed to assist in the prosecution.
Brian, did you do it?
Kohberger was arrested in late December, charged with the stabbing murders of Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Maddie Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves. According to charging documents, their other surviving roommate, Dylan Mortensen, saw a male figure with bushy eyebrows, a mask, and black clothing in the home that night. Funk's account of that night is not included in those documents. Prosecutors allege DNA evidence, video surveillance, and cell phone records led them to Kohberger, who is pursuing a PhD at nearby Washington State University. He has yet to enter a plea, but has said through a former attorney he believes he'll be exonerated.
And there was more legal drama back in March. That's when the prosecution disclosed that one of the officers involved in this case had been the subject of an internal affairs investigation. Now, it's not clear if that investigation was relating to this case or a previous case. Nevertheless, legal experts say the defense could seize upon that investigation to discredit the case against Kohberger. Tom?
Aaron, we thank you for that. Coming up, the 7th grader coming to the rescue. His school bus driver passes out, and he immediately takes the wheel, saving everyone on board from a possible accident. We'll show it all to you. That's next. All right, we are back now with Top Stories newsfeed, and we begin with a new report from the Federal Reserve on that stunning Silicon Valley bank collapse. The Fed determining the bank's failure was due to several factors, including mismanagement by bank executives and slow reaction by Fed regulators. The probe also concluding that panic spread by social media, exasperating SVB's problems, and that increased supervision and regulation are necessary to avoid future collapses. You'd think so. Okay, a terrifying robbery behind a West Hollywood restaurant caught on camera. Look at this. Surveillance video shows a man armed with what appears to be, that's right, an assault rifle, and 2 women with handguns cornering 3 victims and even hitting one before robbing them of their cash and jewelry. The incident renewing the debate over the effectiveness of what's called WeHo's unarmed patrol of security ambassadors and the reduction of the sheriff department's budget. Okay, a wild video also showing a rare fire tornado in South Dakota. Check this out. A firefighter with the Dante Fire Department capturing the weather phenomenon, which formed during a controlled burn. The department saying this shows how a fire fights for oxygen when 2 lines meet up. The fire eventually fizzled out on its own. And a high school senior in New Orleans possibly setting a record for the largest total college scholarships offer. Dennis Barnes, who is just 16 years old, has been offered, get this, more than $9 million from about 130 universities that he's been accepted to. Barnes, who is graduating with a 4.98 GPA, didn't even know that was possible, says he hasn't decided which school to go to yet, but he's applied to so many. He hopes to stay close to home, though. A lot of good colleges there in New Orleans. From one extraordinary student to another, a Michigan 7th grader is being called a hero tonight for jumping into action when his school bus driver passed out. The heart-pounding moment, all caught on camera. Here's Kristen Dahlgren.
It could easily have been disaster. Surveillance video capturing the moment a Michigan bus driver radios in that she's not feeling well. She starts to slow down, but passes out as the bus rolls toward oncoming traffic. That's when 13-year-old Dylan Reeves jumps into action, pushing the brake and steering the bus and 65 of his fellow students to a safe stop.
You would think in the middle of this panic, you would just jump on the brake. He had the wherewithal to push it slowly, likely in anticipation that the bus was full of passengers.
The 7th grader stays in control.
Someone call 911 now. In my 35-plus years of education, this was an extraordinary act of courage and maturity on his part.
As Dylan was honored at his middle school, his parents said they're not surprised.
He's been on my lap, driving country roads, pulling in driveways since about 4 years old.
To do something like this just fills my heart. It makes my heart skip a beat. I'm extremely proud of him.
The bus driver still not identified, but tonight undoubtedly grateful to the brave young student who stepped in to save the day. Kristen Dahlgren, NBC News.
Okay, coming up tonight, the celebration of a homecoming. The Panda, with rock star status, returning to China after more than 20 years in the U.S. Millions there to watch her every move. The story about why they wanted her back and the drama that's unfolded so far. We'll explain. That's next. All right, welcome back. It is time now for Top Stories Global Watch, and we begin in the UK with the resignation of a top executive at the BBC. Chairman Richard Sharp is resigning after an investigation found he broke rules in his dealings with former Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Here's what happened. According to an independent report released today, Sharp failed to disclose his role in securing a large loan for Johnson. Sharp is expected to stay on until the end of June. Also in the UK tonight, the Stone of Destiny is on the move. The historic stone, also called the Stone of Scone, has left Edinburgh in Scotland for the first time in 25 years. It's headed to London under tight security for King Charles's coronation next week. The stone is regarded as a sacred and historic symbol of Scotland's nationhood and has been used in coronation ceremonies for centuries. And an astronaut from the UAE has made history in space. Sultan Al Nayati becoming the first Arab astronaut to complete a spacewalk after completing a 6-hour mission outside of the International Space Station. American astronaut Stephen Bowen joined him on that walk, the two successfully changing the radio frequency group unit and preparing for the installation of solar panels. Okay, staying overseas, we turn to China, where millions are celebrating the long-sought return of a favorite, Yaya the panda. She touched down in Shanghai after being loaned to the U.S. as a gesture of friendship more than 20 years ago. For years, her loyal supporters back in China watched her closely growing up and loudly voiced concerns for her. Janice Mackey-Freyer has this story.
Yaya, the giant panda, is back home in China, arriving to Shanghai on a special flight to millions of fans on Chinese social media celebrating her return.
就是当它落地的时候，我们应该喊出回来了，怎么样，我都眼泪都不行的。
For 2 decades, Yaya was on loan to the Memphis Zoo as a popular soft power ambassador in China's panda diplomacy. But Yaya, who's 22, also drew attention because of her patchy fur and thin appearance that ignited an intense campaign by animal welfare activists that resonated on China's internet, accusing the zoo of mistreating Yaya and demanding her return to China. Groups monitored the zoo's panda cam, launched a petition, even took out ads in Times Square and posted comments on microblogging site Weibo, where the hashtag Yaya has generated a staggering 4.6 billion views. The Memphis Zoo has repeatedly denied any mistreatment, issuing a statement saying their contract to keep pandas was coming to an end. And, quote, after 20 years, Yaya has become like family, and she will be sorely missed. Chinese experts who've examined Yaya before say she was born with a genetic disorder that, at 190 pounds, makes her smaller than other pandas and look a little bit mangy, something Memphis Zoo officials tried to explain publicly back in 2021.
I certainly hear concerns that Yaya is not what you think of when you think a big, robust panda, but trust me, we watch our animals very closely. Trust me, they want for nothing. And trust me, our pandas are healthy.
Calls for Yaya's return were loudest earlier this year after the death of her mate, Lula, at age 24, of what Chinese officials say was likely heart disease. After weeks of online debate, China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs finally weighed in, stating publicly the pandas were well taken care of by the park and loved by the American people.
That there's even a debate over a panda is a sign that few issues these days are unaffected by U.S.-China relations.
Before Yaya left, the zoo threw a farewell party for her with a giant ice cake and performances. After a month in quarantine, she'll live out her golden years in China, and her fans everywhere will be watching.
And we thank you for watching Top Story. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.